Part 2. Allow me to ask you a question, gentle strangers. Remember we just discovered there isn't a DNA marker to determine if you are a Native American or not? You remember. The reason being, other races across the globe also have the exact same markers. Another question, if I may. Remember we just genetically and socially proved so-called African Americans are not from the stock of Native Americans? And I slanderously slighted you by saying, quote, a lot of you have an excellent chance of being the descendant of another seldom talked about people. An excellent chance. Thus, prompting you to demand justification for my offense? Well, I said that because absolutely no one considers this. According to Wikipedia under Slavery in India, subtitle, Under Early European Colonial Powers. Quote, in spite of the best efforts of the slave-holding elite to conceal the continuation of the institution from the historical record, slavery was practiced throughout colonial India in various manifestations. Example, bingo, yep. And seeing the Portuguese establish their own state in India to ship out slaves in 1504, that can only mean the white man enslaved the real Indian and imported them to the Americans and Caribbean before, during, and after America was formed, which can only mean the First Nation Native Americans were amalgamated with the original peoples of India to produce the eclectic mix of dark-skinned Native Americans we see before our eyes today. Basically, what they were trying to conceal was the fact that just as many peoples from India seeded the northern and southern hemisphere at the exact same time as the Native American and Africans did. Heck, they were even emancipated 20 years earlier than the colors, just to keep it under wraps. Let's continue if you don't believe me. Cutting to the chase, quote, during colonial time, many Indians were taken into different parts of the world as slaves by the British East India Company. Let me say it again. During colonial time, many Indians were taken, and the Indians we're talking about from India, many Indians were taken into different parts of the world as slaves by the British East India Company and the British Rajah. The Portuguese imported African slaves into their Indian colonies on the Konkan coast between the 1530 and 1740. Stop, bingo. So as you can plainly hear, the Portuguese and British were engaged in the Indian slave trade at the exact same time as the African slave trade and sent both enslaved peoples to all their colonies across the globe way back in the early 1500s. Heck, even imported Africans to their Indian slave markets. But seeing they have admitted to suppressing the truth, question, is it possible they started before the 1500s like the Arabs and Muslims were reportedly doing at the time? I mean, if Wikipedia is correct and the Aztecs first came on the scene in the 1300s, and the Native Americans admit all of the buildings the Aztecs left were before their time, to me that can only mean not only are the Native Americans new and fresh, but it can also give credence to why the Native Americans' genetic markers, just like the people of India, stretch across the globe. Let's continue for more clues, shall we? Personal quote, comparing such information district by district with the very comparing such information district by district with the very imperfect estimates of the total population 50 years ago, the lowest estimate I have been able to form of the total slave population of British India in 1841 is between 8 and 9 million of souls. Listen up. The slaves set free in the British colonies, that's all over the place, on the 1st of August 1834 were estimated at between 800,000 and 1 million. Listen closely, listen closely. And the slaves in North and South America in 1860 were estimated at 4 million. So that the number of human beings whose liberties and fortunes as slaves and owners of slaves were at stake when the emancipation of slaves was contemplated in British India far exceeded the number of the same classes in all the slave-holding colonies and dominions of Great Britain and America put together. And that was Fortnightly Review, 1883, page 355. Stop. Bingo. This is the real reason the colonial powers tried their best to squash it. They were responsible for seeding America with their black Africans and red peoples of India. I was there, people. I saw all of the black/Indian mixed people looking just like a dark American Indian and modern black chicks some of us consider pretty all over the place. I didn't go over this part, but when you read this article for yourselves, you will quickly see the Africans they imported to India and abroad, they were Abyssinians. You know, those who are in control of Ethiopia today. Now look at the images provided of the peoples involved and notice the striking similarities in all of them, except the white Indians. I threw them in there for contrast. Can you tell which is which? The reason? They are all from the same genetic laboratory. Now add the color's genetics and what you get. Yep, the people of color in the Americas. But let's continue for more clues, shall we? Quote, while Andrea Majors in slavery abolishing an empire in India in 1772 through 1843, published in 2014, personal quote, in fact, 18th century Europeans, included some Britons, were involved in buying, selling, and exporting Indian slaves, transferring them around the subcontinent or to European slave colonies across the globe. Example, bingo. Surely across the globe means the Americas and all of the Caribbean islands. What? Liar? Oh, really? Check this out. According to Wikipedia under Indo-Caribbean, cutting to the chase, quote, sugarcane plantations and citizens of Indian origin continue to thrive in countries such as Guyana, formerly British Guiana, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Martinique, French Guiana, Guadeloupe, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, St. Kitts, St. Croix, Suriname, and Nevis. By some estimates, over 2.5 million people in the Caribbean are of Indian origin. Many have ethnically blended with migrants from other parts of the world, creating a unique culture. Say it again. By some estimates, over 2.5 million people in the Caribbean are of Indian origin. Many have ethnically blended with migrants from other parts of the world, creating a unique culture. Bingo. Under migration history. Quote, from 1838 to 1917, over 500,000 Indians from the former British Raj or British India and colonial India were taken to 13 mainland and island nations in the Caribbean as indentured workers to address the demand for sugarcane plantation labor following the abolition of slavery. Indo-Caribbeans comprise the largest ethnic group in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. Say it again. Indo-Caribbeans comprise the largest ethnic group in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. They are the second largest group in Suriname, Jamaica, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, Martinique, and Guadeloupe. Example. Bingo, 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 bingo. That's who these people are, ladies and gentlemen. That's who they are. That's who a lot of you, not you, because you guys are chosen. I got to show you that all in the scripture. Not that you are the chosen, but to hear, there's only a certain number of people that are here. And I'm going to hopefully try to blow your mind on just how small we are. And that, which means just how many clones and people of other nations that are with us as though they are us. My God does some amazing things. And of course he says he's not going to do anything unless he lets puny humans know. So I think he has given me the, I guess, puny human scientific aspect of what he can do, juiced up on, on mega steroids. He's the creator of everything. He can do it all. But there's a scientific way for all this stuff to go down, and I think he's allowed me to see it. So I got to get to that, but I got to have time to actually write it. I got a lot of stuff going on that I tried to stave off 2 weeks ago, and I don't know, people are just different now. But I'm not going to go into that. So, example, bingo, and they fit perfectly with the sexual aspects we discovered as well. Think about it. Kama Sutra, this, that, and other. So, all those dark Native Americans, they are Indian subculture. Same thing with all these blacks. If you just look at the images, yeah, these are people that you see on the corner every damn day. A lot of these sisters, you can't tell, they're the same. Or you can tell the underlining genetics to them. But thank you for listening to this video. My God's will, I get through this. I'm gonna try to knock y'all heads off. I hope y'all pray. I wasn't joking. All right, hello.